Hey there, YouTube. It's Jobber here. Going to do a deck profile on Dylan's Mythic Ruler deck that he's been rocking on DN and in real life. Don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel, and check me out on Facebook. I have links below. And here we go.
So everyone was like, "Oh yeah, I played Dragon Rulers before," and I was like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna play this anyway because I have all the cards." And I don't lose on Dueling Network with this, so it's pretty good. And you just play one of each dragon. Deck actually has like some synergy. You think that the synergy would be almost down to 0 because we lost 8 cards straight up, each one of these searching itself. Now they have new targets, so I'll put those aside like that because those are basically like the target determinations, I guess. Okay, so you play the one of each, and then you play the 3 blue eyes, and then combo with the 3 white stone. White stone looks for blue eyes. White stone is a card of consonance target. Blue eyes is a trade-in target, so it works really well. Then you got these two, where these come into play. You got 2 trees and then 2 waters, and these can search for these. That opens up a target option right there. That if you have one of these in your hand, it might become one of these. If you remove it or. And what this guy does is you normal summon him to the field, and then if an Earth Dragon is on the field and you have this guy in your hand, you can special summon it. So that gets you your 2, and then he copies the level of a Water Dragon. So you can also use him for. I've used him to put him on the field, normal summoned, then put Tidal on the field and had him copy Tidal, become a level 7, and then go like Big Eye or Draco Sack. It's really cool situational card because it gives you a Draco Sack, Big Eye, or Gaia play. I don't know if I play Gaia anymore. I've got to look. But gives you the 7-star play, but also can open up the 8-star play, and you can go into Felgran, which Felgran is just like a beast. He's just crazy. So I can like drop Felgrans all day with this deck. 1 second. And then yeah, so those are the options for Tidal and Redox. And then these are the searchers for these two. You got your Flame Bells and Blaster go together, and then your Corsa, I've never pronounced that right, Dragoonity card with your Tempest. And these mostly you're going to Shrine, so I'll show you what that is when I get to that point. But then you got your Red Eyes, Darkness Metal, which is super good in this deck because everything you play is dragons, and you just like special summon Blue Eyes and just start molly-whopping with Blue Eyes and him. That's almost 6k right there, so if you've done any damage to them, it's probably going to be game if they can't stop that. And then I play the one of Gores. Deck doesn't really have any back row that gets locked down on the field, except for a couple cards that might, but Gores can come back this format. There's no reason it can't with most of this deck, as people aren't playing this. So yeah, Gores can come back. He's a 7-star target, punches a bunch of OTK decks in the face, so super good. And then the double max C for this format, there's a lot of decks that special summon. And then the Shrine, which this is like the new Ravine basically. I only play 2 because it's pretty cloggy at 3 because you can only use 1 a turn. And what you do is if you send a normal dragon, you can send another. So I'll usually, if I have it just depends on like what's in my hand, but I'll either use it to, I always use it to dump a Flameville because it's a normal. So you get the Flameville in the graveyard, which is like a target just to remove, free removal. And then I always either dump a Cards of Constant, or sorry, not Cards of Constant. I always dump a White Stone to get a Blue Eyes if I have a trade in my hand. Or I dump a Dragon Ruler just so I can, he can start popping back to the field every turn and doing some damage.
Feeding the grave, set up the plays.
It just feeds the grave. It's really good. It's just it's not as good as Ravine, of course, but it's a good replacement for it. And then the 3 cards of consonance, because I do play quite a bit of targets. I play the 6 targets for cards of consonance. The 2 Flame Bells, the 1 Dragoonity, and then the 3 cards, or the 3 White Stone Legends. So I play 3 for those. And White Stone Legend is flawless with cards of consonance because you get to add off the Blue Eyes too. So just like awesome.
And then you get to trade in the Blue Eyes.
Yeah, and then you get to trade in the Blue Eyes. And there's actually more than one target. You got trade in is the target for Blue Eyes, and you can use the Water Mythic Ruler. This guy is also an 8, or let me find it. This guy right here is also an 8, so if you like open up with just these and you don't have the tree and you're like, I don't even need to go Felgran, there's like no point in keeping this, you just trade it in. So it works out. So you got lots of targets for cards of consonance and trade in, so they're live most of the time. I mean, there's a couple hands, where you won't have one live, but as soon as one gets live, you'll usually draw into something that'll make the other one live, and then you just start drawing all the cards in your deck. It's crazy. And then play the Burial from a different dimension, because this card is like I know why this card's at 1. Because I was like playing it, I was like, damn, if this card was at like 2 or 3, it's like I could do some damage with this deck. But yeah, it's just at 1. So it's really good to just, you start removing all your Dragon Rulers. If you like tried to go Felgran, you know, early game and you had to remove your Redox and Tidal to get those searches to summon like a Blaster to the field, then this just puts those right back in the graveyard. Just refuels 3 cards, and usually you just reuse it to refill your Dragon Ruler. So they got the search, then they get to come back, then you can just start spamming them to the field. And then same thing with the DDRs are super good because they pull cards out of the remove from play and put them back on the field, and you know you're probably going to exceed with them or synchro them off, which puts them back in the graveyard. So just more remove from play, cycling from your remove from play back to your graveyard, so you can do it all over again. And then the one-ofs, 1 Foolish, 1 Golden Sarcophagus, and then 1 Book of Moon. Just all really good cards to help speed the Foolish and the Gold just to speed the deck along, and then Book of Moon's just a good card all around. I like it. And then the 3 Mystical Space Typhoons just to get rid of back row. And then the back row is just 2 Drag Carnations, and what this does is it's so good because I'll like set it and I'll set my 1 card and they think it's like something Dragon Rulery or whatever, so they'll MST it, and then I'll just like add a remove from play dragon back to my hand, so it's like +1.
Easy +1.
And then I don't have an extra vote for it yet because I mean, like, you know, the standard one is just I just play with 3 Shadow Imprisoned Mirrors and 3 Light Imprisoned Mirrors, and basically that will beat anything on DN. So
yeah, and it's really hard, especially when you're just like trying to like build a side deck for your locals or a regional. I mean, it just player preference and stuff.
I side for my locals. I mean, I could like show you what the side deck is, but you're gonna be like, that's not good. It's like, well, it's good for my locals because, you know, it's like we have just Mermail players and like everything else, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so Heliopolis for the 8s. I got Heliopolis and then double Felgran. Felgran is you detach on either player's turn, and then you just make you negate the effect of the monster, and then it's unaffected by other cards for the rest of the turn. So I just usually use it on Felgran. Like, you attack the Mirror Force, you just use its effect on Felgran. Now he's unaffected by Mirror Force, and you just keep, you know, swing away.
He's a big boy too, like 3,000, 2,800.
Yeah, 28.
Big.
So yeah, he's hard to get rid of. The only real way to get rid of him is to attack over him or make him burn both of the materials off of him. And we got the 7s, and this deck actually goes into 7s a lot, considering that there's only 4 in the deck. Spam 7s. So so you got the 7s, just the Big Eye Draco Sack, you know, standard stuff. Had to cut the other Draco Sack for more 8-star room because the deck did run 2 Draco Sacks before.
Oh, right.
So then you got your Star Eater. I don't have a way. No, I have one way to make Star Eater, but that's Red Eyes and a 1-star. But I never.
Or you have a 3, the tuner, and a 7.
I usually never make it though, so it's just like
very
whatever.
Situational.
Yeah, because I had to cut the Debris Dragons and stuff because they're just not fast enough for this deck anymore. And then the Azure Eyes is really good. It's a situational card. It's like you get a Blue Eyes on the field with like a DDR or something, and you know, summon one of your 1-star tuners, like cards. I always call it Cards of Consonance because I always trade it, or I always hit it with Cards of Consonance, the White Stone Legend, and you get, you know, DDR, bring this back, or bring your Blue Eyes back, and then summon like a White Stone, and then sync off to this guy. And then he's going to grab a Blue Eyes out of your graveyard on your standby, and then all dragons are unaffected. So he's really good to put on the field if you have like a Red Eyes already on board or something. So you're just going to make sure that all your damage is going to go through, and they can't touch they can't touch a dragon that turn. So it's pretty good. And, you know, just standard 8s, because this deck just goes into 8s every turn. And then I just play the 1 of Armedius, just because you have the it's just a play that they wouldn't think that this deck can do, but you do have a 4, and the problem with this deck is I always, like, will summon this and then special this, and then they'll usually, like, effect failure this when I try to, like, copy. So it's just like, okay, it's like, alright, well, I've done this before. I had one of these guys removed, and I just DDR'd it back. So I just go right into Armedius and then smash through the, like, 3-card back row. It's just like, can't do anything.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, that's it for right now. I'm not going to show the side.
Alright, YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel. Like I said, check me out on Facebook. Throw some tokens on there. And I'll be signing off.